Hey crew and Nikki, it's Thursday, June 14th, and I haven't made a video in a long time. I've got some footage that I'm going to cut together at some point, but actually the video editing software is installed on Sarah's computer. I have a new hard drive ordered for my computer, so I don't want to install the video editing software on my temporary hard drive because I'll just have to reinstall it anyway, and I've been kind of putting it off. So I haven't been making videos. That's one reason I haven't been making videos. I've also been busy doing other things, but I did want to respond to your video, Nikki. I'm just gonna make this a nice quick, I say quick, it's probably gonna take me forever. So let's go through the list of things. I took notes during your video because that's how I roll. Number one, end of school games with your kids. Sounds like fun. Actually, that's like the best part of school. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, going to school to actually learn material is, in my mind, the part that's a waste of time. And equating learning with school. Sorry, I'm not going to get on my high horse. I'll stop. And so you talked about how you had this crazy day with your softball and then test breaking an entire bottle of balsamic vinegar. And I got a question, how do you break part of a bottle of balsamic vinegar? I mean, she broke an entire bottle, and I'm just curious what that would look like if you just broke part of a bottle of balsamic vinegar in your garage. I don't know, just, I'm curious. What can I say? I have a curious mind. Talking about rec sports, I'm sorry that you got slaughtered in softball. I've been there. Actually, so I got to tell you a story. When Sarah and I were playing with the Penn State rec softball league, and I was pitching, and I was a pretty decent pitcher. I was pretty good at hitting corners of the plate, and I was also, and the way that we played there, they had a pad, and you had to hit the pad, and I was really good at just dropping it on the corner of the pad. And what I also figured out was that the big guys liked to, they would swing at anything, so I could give them really bad pitches, and they would swing at them and then make poor hits. And so I'd pitch them outside, and then everybody would shift, and they'd just hit to right field because they'd be chasing bad pitches. So we were playing in this one game, and I'd been pitching, and we were just killing this team. And I felt bad for them. And so I started giving them better pitches to hit, and they ended up beating us. And it was like one of those things where I told somebody afterwards, and he was really mad at me. And I was like, I just felt so bad for them. We were up by 15 runs or 10 runs or something. But then, of course, at rec league softball, it's just you never know what's going to happen. So anyway, that kind of leads me to rec league soccer. So we just came back from our first game, and our team lost 4-3 to this other and we know everybody who's playing. There's 4 teams, and basically I know everybody in town who plays soccer. I mean, there are some people who I didn't know coming into this, but there are like 2 or 3 people on each team. But basically, I'm familiar with all of them, and I just have a really good time, and I joke around a lot the whole game, and I yell at people, and I make fun of them, and a lot of the people playing played in high school. And some of them I coached, and they're like in their early 20s now and adults, and it's fun. I really enjoy it. And Sarah's been playing, and it's so funny because she played last Thursday, and then we went out to play. She wasn't here Sunday, and then we went out to play on Tuesday, and she tried to run at all, and she was like, "Oh, my thigh muscles are pulled." And I'm like, "You didn't pull your thigh muscles. They're just sore. They're just really sore because you haven't used them for sprinting." And she was like, "No, I pulled them, and they're just sore." But she's really in pain. She could barely walk. Luckily, she had to play tennis, which is the best thing actually. When your muscles are sore, if you just do light activity, you get the blood moving. As long as you haven't done real damage, that's the best thing for them. And so she went and played tennis yesterday with Gareth. and she and Gareth played doubles against a couple elderly people who Sarah often plays with, and they had a good time. And so she worked out those muscles. And actually, we played today, and she did a really good job. Actually, the first quarter she was very tentative and a little iffy, but then she got warmed up and she did really well. And actually, it's funny because she's never played before, but she's not good at striking the ball, but she can dribble around anybody. She's got this really soft touch, probably from the hand-eye coordination she developed playing tennis. And so she just like dribbles by people, but she can't pass it. I mean, she sees the passes. It's just she's not good at striking the ball nice and clear. Anyway, I played goalie 3 quarters, and then I played in the field 1 quarter. I only got to score 1 goal. So, and the quarter I didn't play in goal, Gareth was in goal. I felt sorry for him. And there's this guy who played on the high school team who's like in his early 20s a couple of years ago, and he's a complete runner, and he's a nut. Really nice guy named Joe Baum, and he scored 3 goals, I think, and set up their 4th goal. So, and he scored his 3 goals the 1 quarter when I wasn't playing goalie. So it was, but I don't like playing goalie all the time. I'd prefer to play goalie only 2 quarters a game. But yeah, so that was good. You talked about school awards and feeling sad. I think about how we felt when Bryn graduated from Whitman. By the way, Bryn got the job offer today, so she is officially will be starting in August. She will be the interim director of the something museum on the Whitman campus half-time for the next year. So she's really excited about that. It means that she's going to get paid a decent amount of money, enough to get by on. Not what I was. She'll be making essentially what I was making when I was her age. Yeah. But only working half time, so, and of course inflation. Never mind. But yeah, I know how it feels. But it's funny because since we didn't have school, we didn't have those little benchmarks with our kids growing up, and so the first big thing we had was actually last year, Caru's graduation. He graduated from BMCC, from the community college, and from high school, and he didn't go to his high school graduation, but he went to the BMCC graduation. And so he was being really obnoxious when at Bryn's graduation, saying, now you're the second child in our family to get a higher degree, and just being a jerk. But it was good. So, but yeah, I know what you mean. There's sort of this feeling of loss. There's feeling of loss with Bryn, going away, and she's still around, but I don't know that she's ever going to live with us again for any extended period of time, and it's kind of sad because I like her. I like having her around. Singing, he talked about having a rough voice and everything. So I've actually been working on the song. I took my guitar with me when we went to Wales and played every day, which was really fun, just enough to be stress-free. And so I sang that song a lot. And actually, Sarah and I have been singing it together, and I think we're going to sing it in the talent show at camp, which will be fun. So I've been working on it. But unfortunately, since the hard drive on my computer died, I may have lost the version of the song I sent to you, so I'll have to redo that whole thing. But we'll see. I don't know I don't know if it's worth getting it back. It didn't take that much work to crank that out, and I can make it better now because now I know that I have a better feel for the song. I think I've been listening to Monsters and Men too. I better get moving here because I'm running out of time. So I'm also, Caru is singing this song by Iron and Wine. Actually, he's doing a couple songs by Iron and Wine. My son Caru, not Heavy Caru. And it's amazing. He does these finger picking patterns that are pretty complicated. And the one song that he and I are working on together is called Evening on the Ground, or Lilith's song. And then the other one that he's doing, actually he's going to sing with Bryn at the talent show at camp, I think, is Naked as We Came. If you haven't heard him, look him up on YouTube. Good songs, really good songs. Actually, I haven't heard Iron and Wine. I'd heard of them, but Caru's, I guess, been really into him since last fall. So, but maybe I can get him to record Lilith's song with me, and we can make a video of that for you guys. Let's see, steampunk. The only reason I know anything about steampunk, and Carew probably knows more because he's literary and just connected, but it's because Bryn actually wrote a steampunk novel called The Helion Train, which I think she's putting up on, she's putting it up for sale on Amazon, if she hasn't already. She was designing a cover for it. And I read an early version of it that still needed a lot of editing, but I think she's completely rewritten it now. But she wrote it when I think she was like 13 when she wrote it. So anyway, that's why I know about steampunks. But steampunk is sort of, it's like, it's often dystopic fiction, and it's but set in an early industrial revolution kind of setting with a lot of steam engine type stuff and dirty, gritty, industrial kind of feel. So that's steampunk. And like I said, I only looked that up because Bryn at one point tweeted that she was steampunking it. And I was like, I don't know what that means. I better find out. Reading stuff, actually, you were talking about Christopher Moore, and I think Carew sent me the book Fluke, which I actually really enjoyed. I thought was funny and good. Actually on the plane, I read a book about Guernsey called the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society or something, something like that. That I actually really enjoyed. It was written in epistolary form, and so I read it on the plane there and finished it on the plane back, and it was a good book. And the funny thing is that we actually ran into a couple from Guernsey who were staying at our bed and breakfast with us while we were in Crickhowell, or Crughowell if you say it in Welsh. Anyway, so it was kind of funny because they said, yeah, we're from Guernsey, and I was like, I'm reading a book about Guernsey. I didn't know it existed until the plane flight over here. So it's one of the Channel Islands, if you don't know, and you probably do because you guys are more literary than I am. Cupcakes and haggis. Haggis cupcakes. I want a haggis cupcake, Nikki. That's all I've got to say. And the one thing about it, the sheep, and I talked about the sheep in Wales, and I imagine it's the same in Scotland. It's no wonder they're eating sheep. I mean, that's what they pretty much have everywhere. Kid-free travel. Sarah just booked plane tickets for us to go to Cape Cod this August. And actually we were planning on going with our whole family, but then Gareth decided he couldn't go because soccer is starting. He missed part of conditioning camp, and he missed part of soccer last year, and he really doesn't want to miss this year. And then Bryn, because she got this job, can't go, and Carew decided that he's not going to go because we would get back the day before he had to leave for school, and he doesn't want to do that. So it's just going to be Bryn and Taryn and I, which should be really fun and low stress. So other than the fact that we're going to be scattering her dad's ashes in Chesapeake Bay or something like that. Nikki, you completely mischaracterized my comment about traveling. I did not say go faster when you don't know where you're going. I said be decisive. There's a difference between go faster and be decisive. Okay, I don't speed up when I don't know what I'm doing. I try to maintain the same speed that I do with traffic. You're creating a straw man argument. It's no wonder Mike is annoyed with you. You aren't giving him a fair shake. So, it's like if I'm coming up to an intersection and I don't know which way to go, I'm going to pick a way and I'm going to go that way. And then if it's wrong, I'm going to turn around and get back and fix it. I'm not going to speed up though and go faster than the speed limit. Actually, one of the things Bryn and Carew both complained about Sarah's dad's driving when they were in Wales and Scotland with him, because they said that he would always go the speed limit, and the speed limit on those roads is sometimes too fast, and it freaked me out. So I didn't do that. There were times when there was a big line of traffic and I would stay with the traffic even if I felt a little bit uncomfortable, but it was never it never felt unsafe. But yeah, don't go. I didn't say go faster. It's a complete mischaracterization of what I was saying. Walking versus running. I understand what you're saying about being in shape, Nikki, because, and like I said, I do this AMT machine, and which is hard. It's a harder workout than walking, and I feel great when I walk. I like you said, I can just walk all day. My cardio's good. My muscles are in good shape. And actually, when I went out to play soccer, I feel great. I feel better than I have in a long time, and I'm able to. I still take it easy because I've done a lot of hamstring stuff in my early 30s. I started pulling hamstrings because my brain was writing checks my body couldn't cash anymore, and so I still take it easy. But I've been able to sprint a little bit here and there if I pick my spots, and I think that's. But it's not I still can't run. I don't really want to run. It's just the impact on it. The other thing, though, actually, I was talking to this guy, Joe, who I was talking about earlier in the video. He's an avid runner, and he started wearing barefoot shoes for running. And he said he's had a lot fewer injuries to his muscles in his knees. He said he still has some ankle problems occasionally, but with the barefoot running really cuts down on the impact on his legs. But what I found is that, I think I talked about this earlier, when I run in the barefoot shoes or on the treadmill or something, my calves get really, really sore, and it's like to the point where I have to take a break exercising because they hurt so much. But it's probably because I'm using the proper technique and I'm absorbing that shock with my calves rather than my knees and ankles. Your busy summer, I completely feel for you, Nikki, and summers just fly by. We would love to have you and Hannah and anyone else, and Mike and Tess and Maggie and everybody come out and visit anytime that you guys want to. Sarah and I are talking about at some point making a trip to the west side, and we'll let you know if we do that. But yeah, if you have a chance to visit, we would love that. If you don't, completely understand. The last thing I want to talk about, and I know this video is getting long, was, for the last, actually since, I think it was May 2nd, was the last time that I had done any looking at soccer. And Carew called me about the Galaxy game, and I'm wearing my LA Galaxy jersey, just so you know I wore it to play goalkeeper in today. But the Galaxy are sucking big time. They're one of the worst teams in the league. They've lost like six out of 7 matches and only tied one, and they haven't won a match in forever. And I didn't know that. I hadn't looked at anything until yesterday. Or no, I guess it was Tuesday. And Tuesday, I was on my phone and my Twitter feed popped up and said the U.S. was playing Guatemala in World Cup qualifying on Tuesday, and I was like, oh, I haven't paid any attention. So then, and I had kind of been deliberately not paying attention just because I filled so much of my time with soccer, and I just felt like I needed a break. And events over the past month and a half have made me rethink how I spend my time and try to refocus a little bit and not just drain my life away. So anyway, but I went back and looked, and actually the U.S. had played 5 games over the last couple weeks, 3 weeks, I guess. And they started out with a game against Scotland. They played Scotland, Canada, Brazil, Antigua and Barbuda, and then Guatemala. And the first 3 were friendlies, and the last 2 were World Cup qualifying. And actually it's pretty cool because if you don't know, I'm a huge Landon Donovan fan, and in the first game against Scotland, Landon Donovan scored a hat trick, his 3rd for the men's national team, but also had an assist and set up another goal with a secondary assist, which they don't really count. And the U.S. won 5-1 against Scotland, which was pretty impressive. The U.S. tied Canada 0-0 in Canada and lost to Brazil 4-2, or 4-1, I think. But the 4-1 loss to Brazil was actually kind of flattered Brazil because it was a closer match than that. Anyway, I was just kind of excited, and I saw that Donovan had scored some more goals. So now he's scored 49 goals, and he has 48 assists for the men's national team. So it's kind of cool if he would score 50 goals and 50 assists. That's that's pretty cool. There aren't a lot of people who've done that for the national teams in the history of soccer. Anyway, I gotta go. This has been way too long once again. I am going to try to cut together other footage of other videos at some point. Maybe I'll make a video of Crew and I singing. Till I speak to you again, still dead.